PPT is visible. Okay.
Yes. Yes, it is visible, Aishwarya.
Live also started, sir.
Okay. So shall I start, sir? Hello?
Yeah, Artik, you can go ahead.
Yes,
Yes.
you can go ahead.
Okay. So good evening, all of you. I'm Dr. Aarti, Assistant Professor, SGM College, Karad. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you in the lecture series which are conducted by Microbiology Society of India. Today we have a very great personality with us, Gauri Wagmare, who is a founder and managing director of Gauri Vandana Legal Services, which is founded in 2019. She provided the many services like patent, copyright, trademark, advising, and many services she provide with us. She also a Indian patent agent and certified mechanical engineer, STEM member, and HEN member also. She is also technology transfer officer and Mars mentor. So, ma'am, you can start your lecture. Gauri, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Arti, for this wonderful opportunity to me. And
Thank you, ma'am.
hello, everyone. So today we are going to see or look at the very important but very unknown topic, which is technology transfer and commercialization. As we know that in India, the awareness regarding IP is very less. So as IP is unknown to so many people, the same thing in the case of technology transfer and commercialization. As the technology transfer and commercialization needs a huge experience, the negotiations, strategy buildings, and so many other things which are essential to go ahead with the technology transfer or commercialization. Aishwarya, next slide. So we currently transferred one technology to Indian Railways recently. It is launched on the Mother's Day, where the baby birth is there, and it is solving a problem for the women with babies or infants. So there is a no passage or any facility for such women who carries their infant with them. So we have currently launched this technology. It is granted, and the patent is granted for the its mechanism, which is the three-strip mechanism for the foldables. And it we got the opportunity to work with the inventor Nitin Devre sir, and also help them in the licensing process with Indian Railways. Next slide. There are few essential processes like the steps for the tech transfer, such as when any person with their IP or the idea come towards us for the tech transfer case or the commercialization case, we need to go through these points. These points are TRL assessment. TRL means technology readiness level. After that, we will assess for the technology. Also, the IP assessment is done and the PCT assessment is done, and one report is created for these three steps. Next step is IP valuation, which is the sheet of valuation where we will find out what exactly the valuation of our technology is. Next is we need to create a tech brief for the scouting, and the scouting need to be done in a proper way. After that, if we scout and any response comes towards us for the technology where the party is interested, we will go for a first meeting with the inventor and the people who are interested to take or buy this technology. After that, we will discuss on the BATNA matter and the negotiation strategy making with the inventor. After that, the term sheet will going to sign and the licensing agreement is done with the decided terms and conditions in the term sheets with the transfer of funds as per the milestones. Once the technology is transferred, once the upfront amount is received, we will go ahead with the royalty checks. For that we need to go ahead for the IP audit. So IP audit is also very important thing where we will take We are having a pool of experts like RTTPs, CFAs, where we do the IP audit with that team. So currently, NASA and so many institutions are using TRL label. Earlier case, it is only used in aerospace industries, not everywhere. So I am plotting here the diagram from NASA, which they are using. Generally, TRL is having 9 different levels. In that, TRL1 is the lowest one and TRL9 is the highest one. So if your technology is underdeveloped or it is not yet developed or the basic technology research is there, then we can claim it is under the TRL1 and TRL2 only. Okay. After that, if the proof of concept is established and research feasibility is there, then we can say that it is in between TRL2 and TRL4. And afterwards, we can claim that in the 4 to 6 or 5, that the technology is under prototype development stage, where they will going to find out the MVP, where a minimum viable product as per the market need to be developed. So it will come under 4 to 6. And that is the thing. And about TRL7, the technologies are ready to go to in the market. 8 and 9 are very good, like a finished product, which is already adapted in the market or which is already tried in the market, which is above the beta level. So if the beta testing is done, we can say that it is comes under TRL 8 and TRL 9. So there is one question which is listed here. What is the biggest hurdle that stops groundbreaking inventions from becoming market ready solutions? So you know that there are so many patents filed in India and abroad, but each and every patent will not go in the market, and it will trap in the TRL 4 to the TRL 6, because the development from TRL 3 to TRL 6 is very time consuming. It requires a huge amount of fund, different type of expertise, and different types of platform. If it will not be available to the inventor or to any institution, then it will trap in the valley of deaths, and so many startups will going to collapse in this range of TRL. Aishwarya, next slide. The next step which I have told you, that is, if suppose someone is having their IP with above the TRL 4, we will go for the tech assessment. If the patent is granted, we need to go through their patent document where IP assessment need to be done. If the patent is filed internationally, not in India or out of India, then we will go for the PCT assessment as well. So what these terms are, what is the definition of this term, or why we are using this kind of terms? The tech assessment is a systematic evaluation of a technology feasibility, maturity, and the potential for the commercialization or future developments. So in the tech assessment, we see the feasibility of the technology, the maturity, and the commercialization potential. So this step is also important. These 3 steps contains one report, which is called as an assessment report for that particular technology. In case of IP, suppose the patent is not drafted in a well-versed manner, or if suppose a trademark is not there, or the brand value or the brand positioning is not there, then we cannot say that it is positioned or it is having that much of IP value, IP assessment in a positive way. So it is very essential to draft a patent in a proper way and take the help from the legal people to draft it if you want to go for the commercialization or tech transfer. Another thing is that the PCT assessment. If your invention is ready to go to in the market, you are having a Indian patent application filed, and suppose your invention will contain the consumers outside India, then we will suggest to go for the PCT filings of the inventions. According to that, we will suggest them in which country you can file to get the valuation, to increase the valuation of the patent. So these three things are very essential and important in case of technology transfer and commercialization. One more question is listed here. So that is, do you know about the concept of lateral inventiveness? So is anybody need or understood about this concept earlier?
No, madam.
No, ma'am. Okay. So lateral inventiveness, it is nothing but the applicabilities of your inventions in different domains. Suppose you have made one invention for particular purpose, but if you have found that that particular invention can be applicable to 10 different categories, then we can say that your invention is having lateral inventiveness. It means that the value of your IP will go increase, or value of your technology will go at the higher side of your BATNA. Okay, next slide. After that, the IP valuation phase is there. In IP valuation, we need to find out how much upfront amount which is wasted in the R&D or which is contributed in the R&D. Sometimes it is wasted because if your IP is not going to the market and not benefiting you monetary benefit, then we can say it is wasted. But suppose you have done something and really it is a good invention and ready to go to the market, then the upfront fees which is charged is nothing but the R&D expenses done on the invention. So upfront fees and the royalty charges are plotted on the chart. That is nothing but the IP valuation sheet. Also, WIPO, that is the World Intellectual Property Organization, says that IP valuation is the process of estimating the value of intellectual property rights in monetary terms, essential for licensing, mergers, acquisition, and financial reporting. So IP valuation, it is very important as like a company valuation. So many people are confused between company valuation and IP valuation, but these two things are very different, and these two things are done in a very different way. Also, one more question here. Do you know we can increase your IP value by doing its invention drafting in a specific way? So do you know about this? So I want this session interactive, so I will understood about that. If you filed any patent or any IP, so yeah, no, okay. So you can draft the patent in such a way that you can increase its value. Okay, so there are so many strategies to draft the patent in the specific way. Next thing is that take brief making, or we can say in the on another term, that is flyer making. So technology brief, it is the document which we can send it to the companies which we are scouting for. So we have to make a concise document that provides an overview of technology, which includes purpose of the technology, functionality, its benefit, its potential application, that helps the stakeholders, investors, and decision makers to understand the technology quickly and easily. So that is the simple one-page flyer or one-page write-up, which is called as a tech brief for the invention. So another thing is that there are so many things you need to understand before making a tech brief. There is secret things like trade secret or some technological points which you are I will suggest that we are not going to make on the tech brief, because there are something secret you need to put before going for the scouting. Next slide, Ashwarya. Next is a business scouting. So what exactly happening in the business scouting? Generally what we do, uh, in our network, we are having so many people and they want so many technologies and they're looking for the technologies. So to such people, for that technology, we make a sheet where we list their names, their email IDs, their contact numbers. and their positions in that company, and we mail them the take brief. And after that, we tell them that if they are interested in the technology, then they can revert us. Okay. So business scouting, it is also strategic research, or strategically making, or strategically approaching to the company people for new market opportunities or partnership collaborations, or any other things, like if suppose material transfer agreements we want to go for, also for that we can scout for. And that is also essential step in one of the essential step in technology commercialization or technology transfer. So one more question here, that is, do you know how networking plays important role in scouting? So how much you network to the good people, and how you are having the relationship with all these people is very important in case of tech transfer. So we will suggest you, if you want to be in this field, then it is very necessary to network with the good people. Another thing is that if suppose we get the response from any company for a particular technology, then first thing we do that we set up one meeting with the inventor and the company people to understand their scope in a better way. So that need to be happen, and it is crucial for understanding the technology as well as assigning its potential, exploring collaboration, and also to get the productive discussion and get the clarity on it. So in that we also gauge the people perfectly whether they really want to take that technology ahead for the commercialization, or take the technology ahead for their further research. So gauging other people's, it is also very important in tech transfer. Next slide. Next slide, it is the partner discussion and negotiation strategy making. So as you and me and so many people aware about it, that when we go to market, if we want to purchase even a methi ka bhaji or any sabzi or anything, we know that we bargain. Okay, so for bargaining or the negotiation strategy making, first thing is very important that we need to know about the value of our IP first. If we don't know our value of our IP first, then we cannot negotiate or we cannot sell it or license it. Okay, so BATNA, it is the term which is called as the best alternative to a negotiated agreements. In that, we will keep the two limits, which is lower limit and upper limit, and in between that range only we will negotiate. It is similar like buying a house. Suppose you're having a budget of 50 to 70 lakhs. So in between 55 to 65, you will negotiate, or you will do in that way. That is your bargaining range. So one more question here. Do you know why IP valuation is important? So is anybody can tell the answer to this question? Okay, the IP valuation is important because if you know the value of your IP, you will negotiate or bargain in a better way. Next slide. So if the party is interested, we will go forward with the term sheet and signing. So in the meeting of the term sheet, we will have a second meeting with the inventor and the company peoples. In that, the term sheet is need to be signed. In that, so many terms and conditions are listed. The milestones on which we need to give the information and know-how regarding the technology is written, and what are the binding things, what are the flexible things, what are the know-how clauses, or if there are so many sub licensing things, or if suppose they want to go for a exclusively or non-exclusively, how much they want a royalty rate for first 5 years, and next after that they want to continue or discontinue the agreement. So all these things are written. Also the things related to infringements, or if any opposition or infringement case happens. So in that case, who will take the part, or who will go for the court cases, who will spend the amount on that. or if the IP generated from the parent IP, so who will take how much stake in that IP? So all these things are decided in the term sheet, and if it is decided, then it is signed in the term sheet. And that is the thing. It is a very flexible document. It can change any time, but before signing the licensing agreement. So it is very flexible document. It is not a rigid document like a licensing agreement. Next slide. So if we have discussed the terms, condition, everything in the term sheet, and we sign the term sheet, so after that the due diligence happen. In due diligence, they will cross check each and everything which you have told or agreed on. And if suppose anything it is, they think it is a lie or it is not the true thing you have told them, then it will get cancelled, the deal will get cancelled. So the important thing in dealing with anything, it is like a marriage actually. So if you lie there, then it will not go ahead with that, because due diligence, it is a very important part in tech transfer process, and truthfulness is the important while making any deal. Next step is that suppose due diligence is positive, like a term sheet is signed, due diligence is positive, then definitely we go ahead with the uh, drafting the licensing agreement and the fund transfer and signing the agreement with fund transfer. So licensing agreement, it is a legally binding agreement or contract where the licensor grants the licensee the right to use its intellectual property under specific terms and conditions. In that, the scope, financial obligation, its rights, responsibilities of both the parties are written. Yeah, next. IP audit. So what will happen if suppose the fund is transferred and upfront amount is transferred in a specific way, and royalty on the sales of 6 months or 1 year is there. So who will going to take the track record of it? If suppose we license our technology, they are selling it into the market, and after the 1 year, if suppose they are denying that this much products they have sold in the market, and so we need to cross check it whether they are showing us the right figures or the wrong figures. So for that, the IP audit, it is very important step, which helps in maximizing IP value, ensuring compliances and mitigating risk. So this is also important step. We need to go ahead after the tech transfer. There are a few terms related to technology transfer, as you know about the conflict of interest, intellectual property in that trademark, corporate patent, license, procurement, non-disclosure agreements we need to sign, the non-confidential summary, grants, exclusive and non-exclusive licenses. So many, these are the few things like trade secret and IP protection, commercialization, marketing, impact. These are the things or the terms. There are so many terms actually. So these few are here listed, which are related to tech transfer. Next. So how the tech transfer is different than commercialization? So many people are confused between whether these two terms are similar or different, but these two terms are different. Tech transfer is different and commercialization is different in the way of feature, scope, focus, goal. These things are different. So the technology transfer, it is nothing but knowledge and IP transfer. Commercialization will deal more with the market adoption and revenue generation. So technology transfer, it is the tech transfer or knowledge transfer or IP or know-how transfer is there. But commercialization, it is a bigger word, which is related to market adoption. The key activities in tech transfer are like licensing, IP agreements, and collaborations. In commercialization, the key activities or the main activities are product development, sales, and scaling. So many times, if suppose you filed a patent for a particular, but the same product will not go to the market. There are so many variations of the product, and the last product is a 9th or 10th variation of the IP filed. So the commercialized product is different than the IP granted product. The end goal of the technology transfer and innovation is further development. Okay. And the commercialization goal is to monetize the product on e-commerce site or so many different methods like direct to consumers, business to business, or business to government. There are so many revenue models are there to monetize the IP. So, who handles it? In case of tech transfer, universities, research lab, tech transfer offices handles it. We also do the tech transfer services. We give the tech transfer services. In the case of commercialization, the business startups and inventors are more attached to it for the commercialization, because this is not a small thing. Commercialization is a very big thing, and it involves so many business activities to show that your technology need to sustain in the market. For that, you need to take that much of efforts. So there one example is listed: a university licensing a new battery technology to Tesla. That is the example of technology transfer. In case of commercialization, there one example of Tesla. That is, Tesla integrates the battery into electric cars and sells them. So that is the example of commercialization. So Tesla earns the revenue by selling their electric cars with enhanced batteries, right? So that is the example of commercialization. So we need to understand the Death Valley in a deeper way, as we know that there are so many startups in India and so many will get failed. So in 10 startups, almost 7 to 8 startups will get failed. And why it will going to happen? So here's why it's called the Death Valley. And it is nothing but associated with the high risk and uncertainty, where the technology is with high risk and very uncertain. Then it happens, or the funding gap is there. No one is going to fund for that particular product or project if they are very early to the market. Or suppose any investor or VC doesn't find the potential in the invention, then it will go into the Death Valley. In case of medical devices, the regulatory and testing challenges are there. So there are possibilities that if suppose it will not going to happen in a particular way, then definitely there are so many other companies, they will take that invention, or they will make the inventions with some different changes in that, and the startup may fail and go in the Death Valley. So the market validation is also very important things. Few things will not go in the market, as we know that there is one case study upon for the zip line. That is the invention for the glass with a mask. Okay. You also know about this, like in a Shark Tank, you have seen about the zip line, but the market validation for such product is not there. So it will go into the Death Valley. So there are so many examples of Death Valley in action, like clean energy technologies or biotechnology companies. There are so many examples. The role of TTO offices. So this is the roles listed in the TTO offices. As in India, we are also having few TTO offices, which helps innovator to do these tasks like identifying and evaluating innovation, protecting intellectual property, licensing and commercialization, marketing and promoting technology, negotiating agreements, supporting startup and spin-offs, ensuring compliances and monitoring, educating and raising awareness, facilitating funds and partnership, revenue generation for the institution. So these are the few roles which are done by TTO offices. Actually, India needs large ecosystem for incubation, and also the TTO offices to make the awareness regarding technology transfer and help the innovators who don't have that opportunity to go in the market. At least their technology need to get at least tech transferred, if suppose they are not going for the commercialization, or any party who is interested to modify the same technology and then commercialize it, then also it is very helpful to go to the TTO. Or also we also help them in that way, like a TTO we work. So under GVLS, we also help the innovator in the same way. Next slide. So here one case study of COVID-19 is listed. As all you know about the COVID-19 and how the vaccine is made. Okay, so Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine technology transfer steps are happened in that collaboration and research that happened. So like BioNTech have had a prior experience with mRNA-based immunotherapy. Pfizer from USA contributed regulatory support, funding, and global distribution. So they are having few things like mRNA-based immunotherapy. Pfizer is having the regulatory support, funding, and global distribution. So they collaborated on that. How the technology transfer is done. So BioNTech mRNA technology was transferred to Pfizer for large-scale manufacturing. So Pfizer is helping them for large-scale manufacturing. That is nothing because they give the contract manufacturing to Novartis as well, where involved a scaling production. How the licensing agreement is done. BioNTech retained IP ownership. Pfizer handled large-scale production and distribution. Global licensing agreement ensured profit sharing and commercialization. So in that way, it happened at that point, as that is a case of national emergency, and they collaborated and licensed it, take the help from manufacturers, okay, to make a large scale manufacturing done within a short term of time. What are the challenges? That is cold storage challenges there, where they required ultra cold storage below 70 degrees centigrade, making logistic complex, and Pfizer partnered with government and international health agencies to do that. Next one is that, as we know that COVID-19 having two different types of vaccines. So the next case study is 1 minute. So Aishwarya, next slide. Moderna vaccine mRNA 1273. So technology transfer steps, how it is done. So collaboration and research with Moderna Health has developed mRNA-based therapies before the pandemic. So they already have an mRNA-based ultra therapies. NIH US-based company provided research support and SARS-CoV-2 spike protein sequence. So it is done in that way. So these two things are collaborated together and the technology is developed. After that, how the tech transfer is done. Moderna used its in-house mRNA technology, but relied on contract manufacturing. The same thing happened here as well, because each and everyone is don't have that facility of manufacturing. So they partnered with Lorenza for large-scale production, and licensing and partnership is done like Pfizer Moderna did not widely license its mRNA technology, receiving significant US government funding via Operation Warp Speed. And as this is national emergency, they got the US grant as well, funding grant. Global distribution channels are there, where cold storage setuping for minus 20 degree centigrade, making logistics slightly easier than Pfizer. And that's why this vaccine is more popular than earlier one, partner with the McKinsey's for vaccine distribution. So in this way it has happened. Thank you for your patience. The contact information is listed here. You can connect with me on my website, my email and LinkedIn. With mobile number is also listed here. If you have any queries, you can ask. Hello.
Yes. Congratulations, Gauri,
Yeah, thank you, sir.
for excellent talk, which is useful to the biological field, biological student. And definitely the attendee will take the benefit. Now, Kirti can ask the question. Kirti, if you can take over and ask the question.
So if anyone having a question, you can also text in the chat. So
If anyone is having question, they are free to ask or write in the chat box.
Hello.
yeah, hello, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. It was a very informative talk. Just for everyone to understand, I just thought to ask if you could brief what is the prior art and how it's going to impact the patent right, and what is provisional and non-provisional patent filing, I think, if it is correct,
Okay.
I'm saying, yeah.
So, prior art search is very important because suppose you are going for a patent, there are three conditions like it need to be novel throughout the world, it need to be inventive over the prior art, and it need to be applicable in the industry. So these three things need to be met. This is the criteria for patentability. And if suppose if you are filing a patent in India, then in India we don't have any strict novelty provisions. We are having a 12 months of timeline for that. You can claim the priority over your invention. Suppose it is even published in the research paper, and within 12 months, if you are going for a patent, you can file a form 31. In that, you can claim the priority from that research paper. But if you are filing a patent in European Union, there are very strict novelty provisions. Even if you published any document before patent filing, 1 hour before patent filing, then also it is considered as a prior art. So it is a very important thing to know that you need to establish like you go for a patent first and go for a research paper later if you want to go for international patents. Otherwise, it is a loss making business. Another thing is that in India, you can make your priority date by filing provisional application. In the provisional application, claims are not listed, but all other things are listed. And if suppose your patent it in the intermediate phase, it need more time to make its complete patent. Okay, so if suppose within 12 months you can develop a technology foolproof way, and then you can go for a CS after 12 months. But make sure that priority need to be there. So file the provisional first, and within 12 months, you can file the complete specification.
Gauri ma'am, there is a two more question in chat box. Please read it.
Yeah. Yes.
Ah, Ganesh sir's question. That is
Is
there
there
any for drafting a patent?
there is not an agency. Drafting a patent is done by any law firms. We are also like a law firm. We can help you in that. And also, you can also learn how to draft it, but it will take the time. So it is better, I will suggest that you will take the guidance from me or any lawyer you will not go, because you can go to the patent agent for that. You can also connect with me on call. I will give you more insight over that.
Again, one more.
Another question is the bacterial strain can be patented as such without genetic modification. Can you elaborate on the question?
Madam, if I isolate any bacteria from a food product and I
Okay.
want to patent it in my name or in my organization name, it is possible that no one should use it.
The process of separating that bacteria from the food. You want to make a process patent?
Not process, the bacteria.
No, you cannot do that because no, it will not come into the domain. So there is a section 3 of Patent Act. So it is under objections. If suppose the bacteria is developed in the laboratory with some genetic modification, then it is patented. Otherwise, it is not.
Okay, thank you, madam.
One more question is there, ma'am. That do you provide any service for commercialization of microbial product?
Yes. We are providing services for all kind of domains.
Microbial
So in
product.
that, microbial products are one of them. Yes.
Okay. If there is any question, please ask to ma'am. The session is open for discussion.
You can ask me the question related to IPR as well. So no problem on that because that is also essential one.
Hello? Is there no
Yeah, hello.
question? Can I conclude the question? Conclude the session, ma'am?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Just one last question I would like to ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is there any fees or any charges for filing patents?
Yes, there is government fees is involved in that, and also the professional charges are there. So the fees is involved in filing the patent. If you are a startup, you can go through SIP scheme as well for the benefit making. And if suppose you are in the school going or your kid is having a patent, then like 7,500 rupees are paid by the government of India, government of Maharashtra, under the Kapila scheme. So for that in detail, I can tell you, you can connect me on call.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Gauru ma'am. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our today's guest lecture, Gauri Wagmare ma'am, and for being with us today and her enlightening talk on the technology transfer and commercialization essential. She also explained the IPR, IP audit, and many things. Our audience will be get benefited for that. So again, I would like to thank Dr. A.M. Deshmukh and Microbiology Society of India for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now the session is over. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. We will meet again.